Thursday at 5 o'clock.
It's Thursday at 5 o'clock and you're here with us. And today's theme is wintry photos, snowy kind of stuff. Sorry, people in the Southern Hemisphere. I know that you're like burning up in Australia. The show doesn't apply to you right now. Maybe you have some old snowy photos. That's what's happening today.
Like 70% of the U.S. is below zero. Like below freezing.
It is 40 degrees in Florida, Fahrenheit. A lot of you are not from this place. That's cold, by the way.
So we're looking at your winter photos today. There's no sponsor, no guest, so we should be looking at lots of photos. You can go to sdp.io/submit to send your photo in.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
You
take
absolutely
questions.
can.
You can just write a comment, and our screener, Chris, out in Rochester, New York.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Chris, I'm glad to see that you're not frozen to death.
I am not frozen to death yet.
That's good.
No, he's not rolling it out for later.
We're going to check in
You got plans we should
with
know
Chris
about?
in a few minutes. We're going to see if he's frozen to death then. Okay. One thing. Two things. Next week, Matt Granger is going to be our guest, and he's going to be looking at your travel photos. Should be a good show. Matt's very funny. He takes a lot of travel pictures. He knows a lot. So get your questions ready and get your photos ready. The week after that, we are going to be doing a show that you vote on the theme. So if you go to our Patreon, you don't have to give us money. I just opened up the voting for this one time. Usually you have to pay $1 because, like, yeah. But you can vote. So the Patreon link is in our description. It's sdp.io/Patreon. For short, and then you can vote on the theme. I chose a few topics.
We're going to talk about the Panasonic S1 and S1R in just a minute because a bunch of new information is out. But you want to take a look at some pictures first?
Do you want to just dig?
Okay, let's talk about the camera first. This is the S1. They're launching it in a pair, just like Nikon did with the Z6 and the Z7, just like Sony did with the A7 III and the A7R III. So we have one 24 megapixel camera and then one 47 megapixel camera. They're otherwise pretty much identical. They look like this. They're a little bit bigger than the Sony bodies. They have a brand new lens lineup. It's the L mount, which Leica has been using, but all the lenses right now are expensive Leica lenses, so there's not a lot of variety.
Okay.
They're launching, this is what it looks like. It has an old-timey Casio LCD display on the top. They didn't get the memo. It's got one XQD card, one SD card.
You threw down.
Full HDMI. 3 lenses. The 50 millimeter f1.4 is rumored to be $2,700 US, which is a lot.
Yeah, you don't have to say that. That's definitely a lot.
And it's not like Canon's 50 f1.2. It's not stabilized or anything, but it does have the aperture ring on it. Their 24 to 105 is going to be their kit lens, and I'm guessing it's going to be about $1,500. I think we are confident about the price in British pounds, but maybe not. I'm guessing at the US dollar conversion there. And
you can just find that out.
Well, it's not fully released yet. It doesn't launch until tomorrow, like 11 a.m.
I meant the conversion.
Oh, but the prices don't match up because they have VAT. Like
that's right. I'm sorry, I forgot about it.
And then the third lens is a 70-200 f4.
F4.
So, well, that's weird, right? Because let's take a look at the cameras themselves. The S1 is a 24 megapixel camera, and the US price is pretty much confirmed at $2,500. So it's more than the Canon EOS R. That's 30 megapixels. It's more than the Z6. It's more than the Sony A7 III.
Okay.
And so it seems like it'd be ultra pro, but then they're launching it with these sort of like mid-range prosumer lenses, which it just seems like a weird choice to me.
Confirmed, as you said, but we're speculating. We're digging into the rumors.
Yeah, it has sensor stabilization and it can do the stacking thing, kind of like the high-res thing in the EM110, EM1X that we just reviewed, where it'll take 8 pictures and stack them together. They're really fibbing on the megapixel thing because they're saying it will produce a 96 megapixel picture. But really, it's taking 48 real megapixels with full color information for everything, and they feel like they have to then exaggerate the actual megapixels because you are getting full color information. So it's more because manufacturers lie, sort of exaggerate the actual number of megapixels.
We just made a podcast about this. We just made a podcast. It's called like the 5 Lies Manufacturers Tell You, and we talk about this megapixel business. Made some of you angry.
But it
Made
should
some of you
produce
happy.
very high quality 48 megapixel pictures, but only for absolutely still subjects. They have a very high resolution EVF, which should be super sharp. 50% sharper than you'd get on an A7R III or a Z6, and like twice as sharp as you'd get on an A7 III. They have full width 4K at 60 frames a second, which is the first time we've seen this in a full frame camera. So from a video perspective, I think this camera is more interesting than its big brother.
Well, I guess we'll try it before we say that.
Well, that's something no other camera can do right now in a full frame sensor. But one big thing that concerns me is it's only contrast detect AF, and that's something we really have to test. And
That's
the
what I'm
AF is
saying.
super important.
I have trust issues. They always say they have some great feature, and then you try to use it practically, and there's something wrong. Like,
Yeah, we don't know that it's not limited to 5 minutes, something like that. They could have some
it
crazy
could
limitation.
spontaneously combust.
But at the same time, you bring up the question, like, okay, it has these capabilities, but there's not currently any lenses for it. Like, really, very limited lens selection. And so if you are serious about video, there's also no flippy screen.
There's a tilty.
I know, just a tilting screen.
But they have a really great 30-pound mirror that you put on the back.
Yeah, that's a
you
good
could see
idea.
the tilty screen. So it's like, why are we trying to be mean?
All
know?
real vloggers
All
use
real
30-pound
vloggers,
mirrors.
They have a mirror, and that is just like problem solving, you know?
Then the Panasonic S1r is the high megapixel version of it, $3,600 US without a lens, and it does the same sensor shift thing with 8 stacked images. So this is a new feature in that it will produce basically a 90 megapixel high-res image, which is better than you could do with a Sony. And so that it could be the image resolution king. It could produce better images of totally still life subjects. And it does 4K 60, but it's heavily cropped. So that's a disappointment. And the pictures of it.
Oh, we have to credit that site.
Oh, yeah, it's
Nokishita.
Nogashita that really broke it, and then l-rumors.com is kind of covering it. Now you want to look at some pictures? These are winter pictures. This is like a nice classic winter picture, right?
Ooh, I love it. It's like almost real life spot color.
Would you want
But
to
I'm digging it.
make it contrastier or what? Are you happy with the contrast? Would you dehaze it?
I didn't think so, but then you did, and I liked it. Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. The low contrast thing kind of works, and that's realistic.
Okay, we're moving on.
This is Kristin Adams. She has a very pretty picture of a horse. I love that you can actually see the snow in here. It's very low res, though.
Yeah, I would contrast this little baby too. Aw. Really nice. Where's my...
What you doing? Oh, you want your presets. Okay.
I
You get presets from Northrop.photo.
I always go through my presets, and then I usually use them as a starting, like, I never stop tweaking. Like, I'll pick one I like, and then from there, I'll tweak a little more.
Yeah, that made a good difference.
Thank you. Oh, look at all these chairs. That's interesting.
This is the Grand Canyon.
Well, you know, he went to the Grand Canyon, and this is what he saw.
Yeah, I guess
And
that's the
so-
story behind it.
I mean, that is life. I think you're summing up a very common experience. Snowscape at sundown. I like this sunburst that you got. I think you did a good job with what you had. Like, there's not like a really clear subject. It's like this one tree. Why'd that have to get in your way? You know what I mean? But I like the colors.
And I think this is a man-made reservoir. It seems very square, so you could maybe compose it so that that's not in there, and maybe get that branch out of the upper left corner. It's just kind of jutting into the frame. But pictures of woods can be very difficult. Like, they're very beautiful to be in and very difficult to capture. But I like that you put the sun in there.
Me too. Oh, I like the color contrast. It's like a whiteout, but you found these red lights, and it's an unconventional beauty that I appreciate. What do you think, Tone?
Yeah, I like it. I wish there was a little bit more of a story there. Like, I feel like we're on train tracks. Be cool if there was
I think it's
train or
cool.
something there.
John Lee, I think it's cool. We have a snow set. Liking what you're doing with the titles today. Really good colors. Maybe a scotch too much foreground, because you have a lot of foreground, but not really anything happening in it.
Yeah, I see some cool colors reflecting off the water there. Maybe if that were a little closer to the foreground, like don't kill yourself getting in the ice or anything, but
No, don't kill yourself in the ice.
it's always good advice.
That's just what I tell everybody. Oh, you know what?
Pretty seen, Rob.
I think we did something.
Could work, us. Come to the
Rob?
next picture. Okay, trying to go to the next picture.
Iceland guy from Photokina, Marco.
Okay.
We,
I remember you, Marco.
we want to go to Iceland, Marco. What do you recommend? We've been talking about it. We want to see the Northern Lights. We're ready. We're ready for it.
There's some crazy, I don't know if it's over sharpening or what, but it definitely caught my eye right away. So be careful about that.
Yeah.
But I think the scene is cool. It's kind of abstract. The flowing is kind of beautiful. I like what you're doing with the contrast there, Chels.
Yeah, I think you can bring the contrast up a little bit. And if you press Alt while you do this, you can make sure you don't blow out your highlights. Let's see what we did here. That's really nice.
Nicely done, Marco.
Nicely done, Marco, from Photokina.
Oh, wait. Okay.
I liked all of the people we met at Photokina. We needed to do another. First, I was scared because I get scared in a crowd.
Yeah.
But then I really liked everyone. We need to do it again. Maybe at Photo Plus.
Very nice picture, TJ. I like the simplicity of this. No distractions at all. I would definitely try to get that down to ISO 100, but it's pretty.
Oh.
Okay, we have a little portrait. I guess, yeah, the blanket does convey cold. And I love the toning on this.
I do too.
Yeah, and they have a good, nice kind of expression
Oops.
going on.
I would just make them less centered in the frame.
And I think one of the hardest things about non-models is posing their hands. And you could see his hand is kind of chopped off. You could just position it a little bit lower on her waist. And she has her hand kind of like clutched in a fist.
That's just relationships for you. Sometimes you got to be ready to punch. Got Justin with that one. I love this photo, how it's backlit, the dog's expressions, the leading line of the dogs. I'm going to give this a pick. And I love the processing too. You matched the mood of the processing with the moment. That's really nice. What are you up to over here?
There's just a couple of stray branches poking in at the edges. Like always check the edges of the frame. And this isn't a good cloning job, but you can kind of get where I'm going at.
I get where you're
I
going.
like that you got close and wide. This, I think, because you have the sun in the frame, you shut that thing down to like f22, and you might actually turn it into a little bit more of an interesting starburst, but it's something to experiment with. It could have gone
I'm gonna
crazy
give you
with
a
the flaring
pick.
or something. Yeah, it's a great shot.
Haven't you guys always wanted to try that, though?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know is it
Is it
okay for the
okay?
dogs?
Is it like...
Yeah, I think they love it.
Oh, yeah?
Is
I
it
think so.
frowned upon? Can you just use a dog as transportation in 2019?
Yeah, could we just experiment with Pixel?
We could try it.
This feels too tight, right? Like he's just barely poking into the frame. His skate is just going off the frame.
The title is Getting Ready, and Chris Reddy makes so many Reddy puns that I was just like, this is Chris Reddy's picture. He made another pun. Chris, you got me. You got me.
Sorry, not mine.
So you're not at the wide angle of the lens. I don't know why we're cropped in that tight, but leave a little room to breathe around the subjects here.
I like it though. No face.
A leisurely stroll. Yeah, this seems pretty intense. I like that you're out there with the camera. It's definitely a good moment to capture.
Where are they?
I can tell you where. Look who's in it.
Norway,
It's
yeah.
Snapjacks. Wow.
Yeah, this looks like an intense hike. It's probably nothing for Erlen, though.
This is just a peaceful Sunday for him.
Probably going to the bus stop in the morning.
No, I was going to do stuff to it, but I like it. I like it. I feel like you intruded on a very private moment.
Yeah, they're in the middle of a fight.
You have all of the information there. Maybe I just bring the highlights down just to show a little bit of detail in the snow so they're not just floating.
Yeah, they did. This is a good point. And it kind of depends on what your screen is like. But for us, it was completely blown out. So
Yeah.
If you're making a print or something, definitely watch for that.
That's interesting.
You could also,
yeah.
if you felt creative, you could just move them around the frame. They're a little bit far apart. You could completely, let's see if I can do
that's
this.
a controversial
This is a
thing.
Photoshop job, but.
Oh, gosh. This is not going to go well. I'm here for it. Show me what you got.
Wait, no, I'm doing this wrong. Let's do clone over here. Oh, I'm so sorry, dear.
Oh, gosh. What'd you do to that poor animal? I'm telling PETA. They're going to shut our show down.
Wait, no, I'm doing this backwards. I don't usually do this in Lightroom. I'm sorry.
Everyone's laughing at you. Oh, so you have to draw a deer over there. I don't usually do this in Lightroom either.
And then, let's see. There we go.
Okay, wow.
And let's crop that in.
He's moving to Hollywood.
All right, see, now we got the same kind of story going on, but they're bigger in the frame.
Oh, that doesn't look bad, actually.
Dang, Tony.
I know, you had to be patient. Everybody was losing their minds. Tony doesn't know what he's doing, but I do. I'm just slow. Let's get that white point up.
This is gorgeous.
A good winter tip is to
What?
check the exposure of your camera. Your camera will almost always underexpose in snow because everything is white. So you have to add a little exposure compensation. If you don't do it at the time of shooting, you'll want to do it in post. Just make sure you get close to the white points, but you still keep that texture in the snow.
Johnny H. Winter. I love that you took such a simple scene and you made the most of like the textures of the sky and the trees, and I love it so much, and your processing is so beautiful, these like blue cool tones, and I gave you a pick and I love it so much.
I think this would be a great shot for a long exposure because I see those clouds in there, and if you kept that shutter open for 10 seconds with an ND filter, they'd kind of become more wispy. You might add that little extra bit of romance. to the photo.
I don't want it. Ooh, who's this little guy?
Yeah, these
Cold
ducks are so
mergansers.
shy. They never want to hang out with me. I just want to crop this in because,
Why?
because I don't like this, right?
Why? Explain more.
There we go. Beautiful shot. I'm going to give you a pick, Todd.
Wow, John.
Good work. Good choice of shutter speed.
Are people voting on the theme of our show in 2 weeks? Is that something I can find out?
I'll look that up for you. In the meantime, here's
Yeah,
Tim Marsden's photo. I like this photo a lot. Tons of contrast. I love the lines here that lead us right to a subject.
And the lines of the trees. This is really beautiful.
Great job on the
Yes, I'd
composition.
give it a pick too.
Yeah.
We
awesome
agree.
job.
You know what? I like that picture of the slopes. I liked it a lot.
I'm going to skip forward and try to
Wow,
find some
okay.
stuff that's
There's
compelling.
nothing stopping
Got a lot
you.
of pictures to go through. So.
Whoa, I like that one.
Yeah, that is really
I
pretty.
mean, a little goat. Okay. This has like the sticks in the foreground got me.
Yeah.
But I like the colors and the shards of ice are interesting.
I think with a telephoto lens, you could rescue this scene because look at how like they had the nice sunlight reflecting off of them.
Yeah.
If you really zoomed in, made the sun bigger in the frame and captured that and kind of cropped out the rest of this.
Hey, can we take a break and read some chit-chat?
Sure. Let's
Whoa.
chit-chat.
Because this is about me. He says, +1 for Chelsea being the world's coolest YouTuber. And another guy said, Chelsea is definitely the coolest YouTuber. I just thought that was an important thing to mention because there are a lot of YouTubers, so I'm so honored to be the coolest one. And if any more of you want to spread the word about that, tell any newspapers or news outlets in general.
Or yeah, if somebody wants to craft a physical award like you might give to a kid for getting second place in soccer.
Or first place in the world.
No, I wouldn't like go overboard with it.
And first place in all of YouTube. No big deal. Gustavo says, you know what really grinds my gears? Your channel name says Tony and Chelsea, but your logo says Chelsea and Tony. And you know what, Gustavo? That's called compromise, and every relationship requires it. And sometimes Tony's first, and sometimes I'm first, because really, we're equal.
It also
makes
depends
sense?
on who actually did the writing.
Yeah. So if I write it, I put me first, and if he writes it, he puts him first.
It's called compromise.
It's called marital spats. Look it up, Gustavo. Jody Ellis said, okay, Chelsea, now you did it. I'm one of your most loyal listeners, and I'm 75 and a grandmother. Little old ladies are mentally all right, usually, because I said, Squarespace templates were made by designers and not grandmas. And Jody, I'm truly sorry. I love grandmas. I'm not an ageist. I think you could be an amazing designer. And I don't know what I was thinking. And I owe you an apology.
She accepts your apology.
Fred says, I love your videos, but why do you want to vlog in 4K? Vlogs are shaky, out of focus, and bad exposed videos. So why? Vlogging in 4K is like eating a yogurt with silver spoon. Eating yogurt with a silver spoon sounds delightful.
Yeah, that seems perfectly fine.
That seems great. But I thought that was a funny expression because I like spoons and yogurt. So this really appealed to me.
Yeah, it really related to you. What do you think? Should we try to take a live call, or is that just too much?
Let's take a question first. Let's ease me in because I'm afraid of the live call. But if one of you would like to call us live, it's possible.
Go here, and it's a Google Hangout or something. You can do it from your smartphone. Just be ready to be brief. Just ask us a question briefly. You can join now, and Justin will get it set up while we take a question from Chris.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, they're gonna, but with Chris's audio, they're gonna be hearing like the ding dongs. So I'll just let in one person, like whoever comes in first or something like that. Okay.
Cool.
I'm so nervous. Tell me, Chris, do you have any questions? I can't hear you, Chris.
Is muted.
Darn it. He is
Roman Dudinov
Okay.
gave us a super chat for 2,000 rubles, which is like $30.
Cool.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you so much.
And he says, "Hi guys, do you think DSLRs are going to become niche cameras for enthusiasts, close to what rangefinders are now, or will it be wiped out from the market completely?" He says, "I shoot with an A9 and a 1DX Mark II. The idea that I won't be able to upgrade to the latter next gen hurts."
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen really soon, but I think eventually mirrorless will completely displace DSLR.
It'll be like film cameras. Like, they're still around, but...
I'm going to tell my grandkids about it. I learned on film that I shot with DSLR for a very long time.
Oh, yeah, they will already be so tuned out.
And they'll be like, well, what are you talking about?
They're like, I did 12 Snapchats while you were talking.
Snapchat, that'll be a thing of the past. What else, Chris? Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, there was a couple questions. I hadn't seen it, but I guess there's a new Sigma 70-200 2.8 sports lens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And several people were asking if that was on your radar to test.
We have not talked to Sigma for the longest time because we hurt their feelings with a review and they got mad about it.
When we make negative reviews, people think there's motivation behind it. Like, people stop talking to us for a very long time. And then when they start talking to us again, it's real awkward.
That first MC11 adapter, when they first released it, they were very excited to have us test it, and it was just buggy. It was really buggy. It didn't adapt lens as well. And so they did a firmware update and had us test it again, and it was still pretty buggy. But they've had 8 firmware updates since then, and now it's what we recommend. So it's good now, but at the time it wasn't good. But last time I talked to the rep, it was a little weird.
Things get
I think
weird.
it hurt his feelings.
And several people were asking if that was on your radar to test.
I don't know.
Oh, he's hearing a delay. You have to be sure to mute. Hi, what's your name, sir?
Sorry.
Hello?
Hello?
This is going great. We can't hear you now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can't hear you, but we appreciate your presence.
Oh,
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, there you are.
you go.
Hey, how are you, sir? What's your name?
Oh, sorry about that. Hi there.
What's your name?
Richard Gore.
Hey, Richard. How are you?
Pretty good yourself?
I'm doing all right. Where are you located in the world?
I am in the Quebec province in Canada.
Nice.
Okay, not too far away.
You must be
Yeah.
pretty cold.
A little bit. Yeah, it's like minus 20 degrees Celsius right now.
Okay, that's cold enough.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but it's very cold.
I
No,
have
it's the
no
same.
idea how what kind of degrees that is in Fahrenheit, unfortunately.
I think once you get below 0, it's the same. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I am wrong. Okay.
No, I think
it's a 40.
I think the point where the both scales reach together is minus 40, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What's your question?
I've been wondering about that, and I've been trying to find out online, and I can't find anything. So let's say I've got a Canon EOS R, and if I shoot directly into the sun, I am wondering if I leave my sensor open for about 30 minutes and take a picture every 2-3 minutes. Will I damage my sensor if I leave it out in the sun like that?
You definitely could. And the risks are far greater if you are with a telephoto lens. So It depends. I know this because while I was preparing to photograph the eclipse, I just tried doing it, and I melted a hole straight through a rear filter because everything gets so magnified. But at the same time, I didn't have any problem doing like quick shots of the sun, even with a 500 millimeter lens. So you're probably going to be okay, but I definitely can't guarantee you that you won't burn your sensor.
Well, I remember you talking about that in one of your earlier videos when you were shooting the eclipse. I remember that very well, but I was wondering because, I mean, usually I shoot at sunset or sunrise, and if I do, it shouldn't. Well, I mean, the sun is not as strong as an eclipse, but still, I was wondering. So I should probably turn off the camera between shots then? That's what you would suggest?
I don't know. I've shot. What's your focal length?
Usually 16 mil or 30, between 16 and 30. I'm shooting with a Canon 60-35 f4.
I mean, I can't guarantee that it's going to be okay, but I've shot so many time lapses of sunrises and sunsets with wide angle lenses, and I've never had any problem that I think you're going to be just fine.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know what? I'll keep it short with the shooting just to make sure that I don't damage anything.
Okay. Good luck with it.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Got any other questions there, Justin?
I think there's one other guy who's let me see here, but he doesn't seem to have a video, just maybe audio only. Can you hear us, Robert?
Oh, I'm not Robert.
Okay.
Then who are you?
Sorry about that. Wrong account. My name is actually Jordan Cameron, a longtime fan of the show.
Thank you.
I'm the guy who you said looked like an angel last year, if you remember him.
Wait, do you have dyed hair?
No. I took a very overexposed photo of myself in the snow in a bright white suit.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say you had a halo or wings or something. Now we're all disappointed.
Yeah, nice.
What's your question?
Okay, so I'm kind of curious as to if you guys have any suggestions for doing product photography. It's something I'm sort of interested in. I'd like to hear your opinion.
I've never professionally done product photography. Stock is the closest that I've gotten, but you want to get good at kind of designing the set. That's kind of the biggest pitfall that I see with people, is that they get good at the technical parts, which I think are easy to detect, like the sharpness, the depth of field, how clean the photo is. That's all things you want to consider. But make sure you're looking at what's actually being used in product photography. So, take note of the ads that you're seeing, and then learn how to design a clean set. You don't want a cluttered background or something that looks dated. Does that make sense?
Total sense.
What's the product?
Not in particular. It's just something that actually, come to think of it, because my boss recently did ask if I could do some B-roll of shots. I work for a video game studio at the moment.
That's cool.
We make retro games, but new games for retro systems. So like NES, SNES, Genesis, that sort of thing.
That is cool.
I did not know that existed. Holy
yeah, cat, man. We do some fun stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, like if you had any sort of suggestion for that sort of thing, I'd appreciate it.
So you'd be taking pictures of...
You make like cartridges?
Yes, cartridges. Yeah, we
What?
like NES cartridges, my man.
Oh, wow. Well,
that would just be a plain white background for some of it.
Yeah, if it's an Amazon listing or something, usually you have to have a plain white background and like make sure the background's perfectly
Which is
clean.
harder than it sounds.
I think you'd want to do like a kind of a retro scene, go kind of 80s-ish.
Like Stranger Things style.
Yeah, and here it's going to be mostly about the light. It should be fairly easy. Like you won't have glass or anything reflective that you have to worry about, and that really simplifies it. Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry, I don't have better suggestions.
That's cool. I want to try it.
There's so many questions like, how's it going to be displayed? Is it going to be online or in print? What's the aspect ratio, etc.? But nonetheless, the product itself sounds really cool, and I would love to check that out. I did not know people were still developing for older systems like that. That's super fun.
That's very cool. Was that helpful?
Oh, very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jordan. Thanks for calling in.
Great day.
Bye.
You want to take a look at some more pictures?
Yes.
Okay. This picture's gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I should try to import some pictures that are live.
Let's import.
Okay. I love that picture. You filled the frame with it. I love the toning and the black and white.
I kind of like the little bit of motion blur.
Yeah.
I feel like that horse is a model or pony or whatever.
Oh, man, we have so many pictures today.
We do? Because we didn't have many, and then I told people, to submit more.
This is not what I tried to pick. What happened?
What happened?
I don't know. I saw a picture I really wanted to look at, and then, Lightroom just has no respect. No respect whatsoever.
For us, Lightroom.
This is a beautiful scene, Yosemite, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, we were there, you guys, together as a family. Jeez.
I would just try to find something a little more in the foreground. Like you have this tree here, but it almost kind of disappears into the hills here. And I know you're kind of on a path and you don't have that many options, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful shot.
I love it.
Sorry,
you
I hit
go.
G because I'm trying to just
Go. You find what you're
find
looking
something
for.
that really catches.
Oh,
our
that
eyes.
majestic elk deer animal.
Elk deer animal. Wow, look at the way his hair is blowing in the wind. You got some snow in there.
Maybe he's born with it.
Another tip, if you're photographing snow, picking the shutter speed is really, really important. And it kind of depends on the focal length, but dial your shutter speed up or down until you actually see the snow. And you can see in the white parts of the sky, you can't tell it's snowing at all. The only place you get the effect of the snow is over the dark fur of the deer because you have that contrast. So if you want to be able to see the snow, you need a dark background and the proper shutter speed, and you're just going to have to kind of experiment with it. Otherwise, we wouldn't know it was snowing.
I kind of like this hipster deer look.
Mm-hmm. Great shot, Patty. I'm going to give you a pick.
Yeah, give Penny a pick. Patty. Ooh.
Yeah.
I like the trees.
I like the shot. I guess it feels very unbalanced to me. It feels very left heavy, and we have these powerful leading lines kind of leading us here, and then there's kind of like nothing here. Like if there were a tunnel or something, but it just kind of fades out.
Unusual perspective, but I like it. I like it. Look at this cute little body. Who does?
Jim Sesser.
Snow fog girl. Oh, I thought it was something much scarier. Didn't you?
Yeah.
I would bring up.
Why is it so dark though?
I would bring up the whites a little.
Yeah.
Maybe just.
I'm sure Jim had a vision. I know he's very deliberate about everything, but
I know, but he submitted this so I could impose my vision on his vision. I like it. Ooh, look at that expression. Look at that cute little face.
Yeah, this is a great shot. You got the snow on the back of the fox. Though maybe it missed focus. It looked like it might have missed focus.
Maybe, but I think the bigger thing bumping me is the color. Like it's a little green looking. My mouse is not working. Here I am wondering why it doesn't look better.
Okay, there you go. I think when it's cold too, sometimes you can pull it a little cooler.
Yeah. Sorry to just be all about the presets, but this is really how I edit. Oh, the preview takes a while. Oh, I like this golden one. Okay, sorry.
I should have been talking or something, just trying to fill the dead air.
You were just like
I'm just a lousy presenter.
You were lousy at this.
Yeah, I'm not good at this. This is the effect you get at F22. You get that kind of starburst effect.
I'm not feeling a wintry scene. It's very warm and looks.
Yeah, you're right. It's not really.
Looks like a summer. You get the hood, so that's kind of chilly looking.
Whoa! You got a polar bear.
He's doing yoga.
Check your histogram there. You can see like the whole right 20% of the histogram is unused. So you probably want to brighten it up a little bit, make that snow nice and bright because that's how our eyes would perceive it. It would definitely be nice if we could film more of the frame with the polar bear. I understand you're at a 300 millimeters, but there's always cropping.
You don't want to get too close to a polar bear.
That's a misconception. They're actually very friendly and love hugs.
Well, you're going to have blood on your hands,
That's a
sir.
lie. Yeah, they will literally kill you, and that would feel really bad.
Look at this little cat with the human face. You like that, Justin?
I think it might be like a Canadian Lynx or something like that.
It does have a very human face.
His name is George.
Or maybe that's one of those deep fakes.
Oh, it's a deep fake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear they're invading. That's scary. Scary times, but...
That's creative. That's clever. You took a snowy day and you made something of it. Chris, do we have any questions or comments from the folks?
Yes, we do. There's a good one here. Several questions for some reason on the D500.
Okay.
It says, I got a D500 and a D800 and do landscape and wildlife. Should I consider selling both for a D850? Is it that much different? And another question about, do you think there's going to be a successor to the D500, or will it just go away?
I hope that Nikon will release another generation of DSLRs, and I think they should. Mm-hmm. I would love to see them bring their sensor stabilization over into the DSLRs and at least give one last round of amazing DSLRs before they completely shift everything over to mirrorless. Partially because I don't know that their mirrorless is like ready for many users. Like a lot of people, their best bet is still to shoot the DSLRs.
I think people will stay with DSLRs for a little while, so they might have a few cycles left in them.
So sorry, is considering switching from a D500 and what to a D850?
He's got a D800E and a D500. Thinking of going to a D850.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea to have two bodies with a backup body, have that kind of built in. But the D850 does provide most of those benefits, especially if you get the kind of expensive grip, so you can get to that higher frames per second on it. But yeah, the D850 is just like a great camera that can kind of do it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you'd only have one body.
Yeah.
Most people have one body.
Yeah, I don't know how serious it is. Most people don't need a backup. It's like we've never had the D850 fail us.
What else, Christopher?
Yes, we've got Cameron Calvert says, when shooting in low light, is it better to shoot wide open or to bump ISO to 2000 plus when you're shooting a D7200 and a Sigma 17 to 55 when you're trying to get the sharpest possible picture?
Oh, definitely shoot wide open, because if you're at a high ISO, that's going to crush your sharpness anyway.
It's going to be so noisy.
But yeah, shoot wide open and use whatever ISO you have to. But the thing you're going to be working on is getting the slowest possible shutter speed.
Yes.
So use all that stabilization, take a whole bunch of shots, check out the rule of doubles on our YouTube channel. That can help you get cleaner and sharper images. This dog's wearing clothes.
Look at this fancy little lady.
Wait. Come on, Lightroom. Focus caught on the nose. So be sure to use a single focusing point. Those Sigma lenses can be a little flaky with the focusing too, but super cute pop. That's why I love
This is why they don't talk to us.
It's the truth. Believe it or not, this is a great shot of an owl, and I appreciate that you even spotted it. If you're walking through the woods, these owls camouflage themselves so well. So many people would walk past.
Why did you say believe it or not? This is just a great picture.
Yeah, I guess I was starting to say, believe it or not, this owl would be really hard to find in the wild.
Oh, okay.
My brain short-circuited and switched
My brain
to a
does
different
that.
sentence.
All right, let's look at a few more and wrap it up.
Okay.
Oh, nobody told me. Did people vote on the theme for the show?
I couldn't really tell because I couldn't log in from down here. Sorry.
Oh, that's sad. I'm going to try on my phone so I can tell people. Guys, go to the Patreon. It's free to vote this time. And you can vote on our show in 2 weeks.
Adventum, this picture is gorgeous. I feel like the blacks have been clipped a little bit. It feels a little too contrasty. And I think if you go back to the raw file, you can probably recover it.
Still beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous. The foreground subjects here, like you have some sticks just kind of coming up. I don't know if you could have just reached forward and pushed them aside or pushed the camera forward a little bit so they weren't there. But removing those even in post would help. Otherwise, I think it's a gorgeous shot. You've pretty much done everything you can with that lens. But if you were to get yourself a fast prime, like an f1.4 prime, then you could cut that noise by a factor of 4. So this is an awesome shot. You're at that point, even if it's a Rokinon prime that you need to manually focus, it would greatly improve your pictures to get that faster prime. But awesome. I'm giving you so much feedback because it's like a fantastic picture. This is really beautiful too, except the stick is like in the prominent and out of focus.
Yeah,
I would have
the
just like pushed
stick.
past it. That's all I see. But you could definitely just clone that out because it's such a gorgeous picture. I think those are the Northern Lights, which we've been talking a lot about lately.
We've been talking about it.
We really want to see the Northern Lights, but every place you can see the Northern Lights is very, very cold, and neither one of us like the cold. Oh my God. This is so ugly.
So cute. Look at this little tiny tongue.
I know. They're the cutest animals. Pick. Just for a cute animal.
Ooh, look at this. Very simple, but I love the mood. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
that is really nice. I wouldn't even hesitate to just get really close to those berries.
Why is this in here? That's not winter.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder about you guys.
Sometimes the photographer knows it was cold, but it doesn't convey in the picture. That's one of the challenges of photography. Like this, that says winter shoot, but it doesn't look wintry to me.
Mm-hmm. Make us feel cold.
We got a beamer hooning in the snow there.
Ooh, this one looks cold. I like that one, Michael.
Yeah, that's an awesome shot. Great job on the silhouette. I don't know if that's a self-portrait or not, but either way, great job with the composition.
The dog running at you. I like this one.
Yeah. Awesome shot, Annie. You get a pick too. I love the way the snow is flying. And actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah, dogs love to run in the snow. This one, very subtle. Like you have the furry trim on the hood. And I like the shadows. That's a beautiful shot. I'm going to give you 5 stars. Oh, it didn't work. This one's great too. So many good photos.
There we got the northern. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I wish you had the pupils, but it's still really beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy's living your dream, Tony.
Yeah, I guess my suggestion would just be, well, first it'd be nice to see your feet. Shoot a little bit wider than you think you need to. But I also, it's such a dramatic scene that you could take a selfie like this, but then also, stand kind of in profile and act like you're looking at it.
Wow.
Like
modeling
match
tips.
the drama with your pose.
I like that. I like that feedback. Look at this beautiful picture. Isn't that adorable?
Don't act like you hate those birds.
No, I don't. I just hated the one that tried to eat my house.
Yeah.
This is so cute.
Beautiful picture of the down.
Okay.
And yeah, I love the snow and the fact that you got it out of focus. You get a pick.
Do you want to take one more question from Chris before we go?
No.
Oh, that's rude.
Okay, let's take another question, Chris. What do you have?
What's up, Chris? What do you have?
Here's an apropos question. What are the best practices to avoid foggy lenses during winter photography?
Just don't transition abruptly from hot to cold or cold to hot. And you can also use, what do people use? Like the lens warmers?
Yeah, like keep your bag in your trunk
Yeah.
for a while so it'll kind of gradually adjust. And yeah, people will take the hand warmers and a rubber band and kind of like strap it to the lens. There's more expensive ways to do that, but that's probably the easiest. But yeah, that can be a real challenge. What do you have a suggestion, Chris?
Yeah, I know I've seen, and I think I bought one at one point. It's like a sleeve for your lens, and it has like a pocket for a hand warmer.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Especially if you got a long lens, like a 600 or an 800 or something, and you wrap it around that, and it just keeps the elements at the same temperature.
Yeah,
Smart.
that's kind of exactly what I meant when I said there were more expensive solutions.
Yeah,
I've just used like rubber bands before, but yeah, you can buy things that will do the same thing.
Cool. Okay.
You know what I heard is you can like heat up a baked potato just like you were baking it, and then wrap it in aluminum foil and just like put it in your pockets. And later when you get hungry, you could just eat it. It's like a hand warmer.
Poor man's hand warmer.
Yeah.
I am really
Life hack, guys.
I'm
Life
really
hack.
happy about this idea, but also upset.
You know you're going to have potato pockets tomorrow.
I want potato pockets. I want tater tots in my pockets, like Napoleon Dynamite. Guys, thank you for joining us. If you'd like, join us again next week.
That's our dog who's decided now to scratch the
Just
floor.
Scratching the floor. I can't control my life. Next week, Matt Granger will be joining us and reviewing your travel photos. The next week after that, I don't know the theme because you're voting on it with our Patreon for free. And it's in the description below if you want to link to our Patreon. And I guess that's about it. I guess that's all we're sharing.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Justin.
Tell your friends.
You bet.
Bye.
See ya. Whew.
That is
You really
all.
went crazy.
Thanks for jumping right in there at the end.